All right, greetings to you all viewers and those who are following us on our WhatsApp groups. So today we are going to talk about the subject and the predicate. What is really the main difference between a subject and the predicate? Okay, so without wasting much of your time, let's get into today's lesson. Right after watching this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel. Okay, so a subject in general, a subject is always there to perform the action. So, in other words, I'm saying the subject is the person. Let me call it the person or thing that performs an action. Okay, so this is what you call the subject. Okay, so in most cases in the sentences that we are going to talk about, you are going to see that the person or the thing that performs an action in that statement is called the subject. Okay, so subject is the element which performs the action denoted by the verb. Okay, which means followed by the verb. So for example, in this example one here and example two, you can see that the example one says David plays the piano. So who plays the piano? It's David. So David is the subject, as you can see here. And the police interviewed all the witnesses. Who interviewed all the witnesses is the police. So the police is what is the subject, as you can see. I hope you are getting it when it comes to subject. So subject in general sense, we are referring to the person or the thing that performs an action. Moving on to the next area, which I think is of paramount importance. So as you can see, these are just analyses. As you can see in example one, the subject David was the one performs the action of playing the piano, which means always in any sentence the subject is the person or the thing that performs an action. And also in example 2, if you check very closely, which is this one, you can see that the subject is the police. What does the police do? They interviewing all the witnesses. Okay, so the subject, the police, performs the action of interviewing all the witness. So in these terms, it becomes clear that the subject is the person or the thing that performs an action. But there is this vital statement here which says, in these terms, this means that we can identify the subject by asking who question. We can only identify the subject by asking this question, who question. Okay, for example, in the first example we have David plays the piano. So you are going to ask the who question. Who plays the piano? It's David. Who plays the piano is David, which is the subject. So this is another alternative which is obviously going to assist you identify the subject by just asking who. In every sentence, asking who performs the action. Who plays the piano? What is the action? Playing of plays the piano. Who plays the piano is David. David is the subject. The police interviewed all the witnesses. Who interviewed all the witnesses? The police. And the police is the subject. So this is another way or another alternative that can help you to actually identify the verb, the subject in each and every sentence that you're going to come across. So having identified the subject, yes, it's a good thing. We can see that the remainder of the sentence tells us what the subject does and did. Okay, so there is something beside the fact that we looked at the subject as something or thing or the person that performs an action. You can see that the remainder of the sentence after identifying the subject. After identifying the subject, let me repeat this. After identifying the subject, we can see that the remainder, which means what is left after identifying the subject, what remains, the remainder, what left, the remainder of the sentence, tells us what the subject does or did, which means is there to tell us what the subject does or what or did. For example, plays the piano is an action performed by a verb David. Plays the piano is an action performed by a verb by a subject David. Okay, so plays the piano tells us what David does. Plays the piano tells us what David does. So in other words, I'm saying after identifying the subject, which is the person or thing that performs an action, what is going to left? The remainder is always going to tell us what that subject does or what that subject did. Okay, for example, plays the piano tells us what David does, and David is the subject. So we refer to this string as predicate of this sentence. Okay, so in other words, we are saying when an action is done, is being performed by what we call the subject, that action, what remains after we identify the subject, is called a predicate. So in this case, in simpler terms, we are saying the predicate is the action performed by the subject. Okay, so in two, the predicate is interviewed or the witnesses. The police is the subject. What the police did is the predicate, which is interviewed or the witnesses. Okay, here are some more examples of the sentences labeled for subject and what a predicate. So I think on this one you are going to understand it better. So we have the subject, which is the person or the thing that performs an action. The lion, what the lion did is the predicate, roared. He is the subject. What he did, writes well, is the predicate. She is the subject. What she did, enjoys going to the cinema. What she did is the predicate. That is enjoying going to the cinema. The girl in the blue dress, the girl in the blue dress is the subject. This is the person that performs something. So what the girl in the blue dress did is the predicate, which is to arrive late. I hope you are following. Okay, so guys, don't forget, for those who are following us on YouTube, please, after watching this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Meet you in the next video.